I do want to talk to Noah. Like Noah, we were talking before we started about, you're on the ground. You work in government. Like, what is it like? Like, what are people talking about?
And I guess Kayla, this can be a two part since we're both in DC, but I think it's just a mood shift. Like I think it's as someone who I think got close to a lot of kind of people in Biden world, largely through kind of HBCU stuff at the White House, the Department of Education. It was very diverse. There was a lot of diverse people working on a lot of different things, a lot of people who looked like us. And I think it's easy to say, like, yeah, the representation matters, but I think that representation, as we all know, like it just comes with a certain set of like life experiences and understanding of what all of us kind of understand and go through on a regular basis. That's just not there anymore. And I think the one thing that's like, I know people who have left voluntarily. I know people who have gotten fired on day one. Um, and they were like just good, hardworking Black people. And I think the thing that's scary is that about the what you were saying, Henry, is that even if you take that buyout, there's a hiring freeze federally. So you're not getting that person is not going to be replaced. So let's say 15% of people at the Department of Education take the buyout. They're not getting replaced. That means that 85% of the department will be staffed. And key things that we all care about won't get done because they
Hmm.
they won't be able to rehire any of those people. So defer to you, Caleb, but I think it's just like a mood shift. Like I think it's just not kind of a no one really knows what's going on because the people I don't know anybody in that kind of space, and the people who are in that space are very insular, and it's just a lot of like I don't know anybody, and I think that's just kind of the difference. But how say you, Kayla, as someone who's also kind of in this area?
Yeah, I think like I've heard kind of like similar things. I have a couple people close to me who work in the government, and just for perspective, so many Black people in the DMV area as a whole are employed by the federal government. So I think definitely scary like for those communities because a lot of us work in government. But I have a few friends like who were working remote, and now they're obviously
Mhm.
going to have to go in the office. But thinking about the setups they had, some people don't even live like in the same area. So I've heard of people who lived in Delaware trying to think, am I going to make this 3 hour commute every day? Am I going to like be able to keep my job? Do I need to uproot my family? So, it's really impacting people. I think just an uncertainty, like you never know what he's gonna wake up and try to undo. And like I said, they're not good at governing, so it doesn't seem like there's infrastructure in place, when they are getting rid of these things, like how are you going to replace that? How are you going to make sure these people are still getting the resources that they got from that agency? So it's just like a lot of chaos, I think, and in general, just uncertainty. And I think we hear a lot like, okay, Donald Trump doesn't have the authority to do that. And in some cases, he is going to be challenged in court. In some cases, like who is there to stop him? Are the Republicans in Congress going to stop him? The same Republicans that just confirmed Tulsi Gabbard and are about to confirm RFK Jr. I don't know. Is the Supreme Court going to stop him? The same ones who said that basically he's above the law? I don't know. So, yeah, there are some things that he can't do legally, but I don't know who is there to stop that from taking place. I know we were talking about the Democrats earlier. I think they definitely have been getting a little bit louder. They did have that rally at the Treasury, basically saying we didn't hire Elon, and a judge like approved an order today that will like limit his access to some of those Treasury payment systems. A little late, but I think it is like it's not like a big win, but I think it is like a little bit promising. Like if we keep making fusses about things, like something can happen, even with the freeze on federal financial assistance. So we see that like we can still get kind of loud. Like we probably still will get a couple wins right now, but again, uncertainty.
And I think that's a good extension because I think we were a big part of like the conversation that we were having before was like kind of just about Elon and just how he's just kind of this probably the most important person kind of in the government or influencing the government right now, and no one kind of really knows what he does.